Okay, so in yesterday's session, we have seen we started with data annotations, but we could not able to complete it. And today we are going to revisit data annotations and complete it. So basically, what are data annotations? Uh, so before that, data validation. So you need to validate data, not only data. Like we validate everything we take, right? If you go and purchase some clothes or some groceries, you will validate, right? Yeah. The data validations are for validating data. We did not finish it. So there are a lot of data validation. So we validate everything. So when you buy the groceries in general, even when you buy the grocery, you validate it. Why you need to validate? Because you need to take the valid product. So when you are buying vegetables, what will happen if you get the spoiled vegetables? You cannot use it, right? So whenever you buy any like garments or any kind of product, you will thoroughly validate it. How much possible you will validate it. So everything you cannot validate uh, at the shop or store itself. Example, you can check the quality of the shirt you are buying by touching it, and you can check how it is fitting, even whether it's fitting for your body or not. That is also a type of validation. But once you use it, feel it, and then once you wash it, what kind of quality it has, so that kind of validations you cannot do at the store. So even that will be applicable for data. So there are, your API is taking your data. Example, uh, when you are creating your bank profile, when you are creating your bank profile, what if I give my name wrong? What if I don't provide the supported documents like the ID of the person, or the address ID? So all those comes under validation. So few validations are quick validations and upfront validations, like checking the data. If I don't enter my name while filling the bank form, is it valid? Can I create a bank account without giving my name, without giving my date of birth, without giving any mandatory fields? No. And email address. So email address is not mandatory. If you have email address, you will provide, otherwise it's not mandatory. So the validation or the quality of the data will be decided by the person who is taking the data. That means when you are defining your data, then only you will identify which fields are mandatory, which fields are not mandatory, like which are optional, and which we need to enforce strict validation. In case of phone number, so there should be some uh, pattern. You cannot give a 3-digit phone number, 5-digit phone number, right? So all this comes under validations. And especially in the API, so when the API, it takes data as an input, and before actually sending it to database, so here the controller is the entry point for your API, right? So through controllers only, your API is exposing data and taking data from the other sources. So they will call this API and they'll get the data, they'll retrieve the data, and also they'll send the data. If someone wants to create a patient profile, they have to call this post patient information by passing this patient information. So what will happen if I pass a um, patient payload without providing name? Yesterday we have seen it's creating a data record without patient name. That doesn't make any sense, right? So these kind of validations we have to do upfront. So there are few validations we have to do upfront, and for that data annotations will be very handy. And these are model driven annotations, we call it as. Okay. And so this is the namespace, System.Component.Data Annotations. Even in MVC we will use them. So System.Data.Component.Data Annotations. Once you added this, so this will be the required field validator. Okay. So here you can even specify min length and max length. So there are different types of validations. What are they? We can see. So database, go to the. So your data annotations will be dependent on your table restrictions. So here in your table, name is a mandatory, date of birth is a mandatory, address ID is it's also mandatory. Medical notes you can keep it null. Mobile number it's null, but if there is a mobile number, it should be in the mobile number format. And email address it's null, but when you are providing email address, you have to provide email address in a email format. Okay, so here this is name is 50 characters. Your database is allowing to enter name with 50 characters. What will happen if I enter a name more than 50 characters? Let's see. Okay, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L. How many letters? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. More than 10, right? So just so this should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this should be more than 50 characters. Just copy this. Okay, put it in your name field. Okay, so run this application. Okay, so where is the okay, just run this. Are you able to see my screen? The postman? Which screen you are seeing now? Okay. Okay. So string or binary would be truncated. So the column name is taking in the database, the column name is accepting 50 characters, but you are sending more than 50 characters and your database will throw an error. So these kind of validations we should not allow. So when you are taking the data itself, if you say, okay, I will not allow more than 50 characters and I will allow only 50 characters, then it will, the user can go back and he can update the data parameter. Okay, come here and see. So there is a max length and 50. Okay, so error message, name should not exceed 50 characters. See, name should not exceed 50 characters. Okay, so for date of birth, there is a um, data format. Okay, so check whether you can use display name for all the variables. So this display name will hide your um, property name. So you can check what are all attributes available here. Date, time constant, display format, disable null. You can check Google what kind of date type uh, data annotations available. Date time data annotations in C sharp. Because date time is one of the complex data type, so which has a lot of so you can specify data type as date required. uh, there are no, so date time format is one of the thing. Okay, then you can specify whether it is mandatory or not. If you need required, and you can say DOB is mandatory. Okay, medical notes. So phone number, how can you validate phone number? How can you validate phone number? You must be filling a lot of online forms, and the email address or the website URL or the phone number, if you give in a wrong format, even the zip code, it will throw an error, right? So how can we validate um, data annotation, mobile number? Any idea? Keep it once. What is it? Ah, so what kind of data annotations we can use to validate your mobile number? So there is a regular expression for mobile number. Nobody can remember this. So yeah, right. So yeah, Yeah, so this rejects mobile number India. Okay, so copy this, come here. So regular expression. So there is a expression. This is error message, and this should be reg expression, or how did they use it? Regular expression. What are the parameters it's taking? So error message, resource name, resource type. So what is resource type? Error message, we can say please enter valid mobile number. Then resource type, error message resource type equal to type of I'm just checking the syntax. So date of birth, so regular expression. Okay, the expression you can directly give. Okay, here you can directly give as a first parameter. So what is the expression we got? This one, and you have to give within the, okay, let's see whether it's validating your data. Okay, okay. So now I gave a mobile number, yeah, which is completely different. Okay, so please enter valid mobile number. I'll enter something like this. 12345. Yeah, still it's not a valid mobile number. So I will say how many numbers we have: 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11. Name should not, now it's a valid mobile number, but still so if I give one less 9 numbers, will it take? Yeah, so it's a Indian mobile number. Okay, so similarly you can use email address. So here email address, so regular expression. So what is the regular expression for email ID? Email ID regex. Email ID regex. Is it this long? Regex data annotation. Data annotation C sharp. There is no difference, but when you say C sharp, you'll get more responses. Okay, so email address. Oh, directly we have email address. Let's try this. If we have email address directly, yeah, we have email address directly. So error message, because the email address URL, website URL, they are unique and they have a unique format, right? So that's why they made this email address. I don't know when they added this. Maybe in the latest versions they added. So email address, please enter valid email ID. So you can check the definition. So email address data type attribute. Okay, initializes new instance of the component data annotation email attribute. Check the documentation. So determines whether the specified value matches the pattern of valid email address. So earlier you have to use the data annotation, but check email address attribute in .NET Core. So when they added, so check the same in .NET 6. Okay, I think they added this in the .NET 8 only, because if this has been added, you will see the drop down value. So if you see, did you see these are the different versions it's available. Required data annotation C sharp. When you say here, so this is available in .NET 8, in .NET Framework, in .NET Standard, in Windows Desktop, all of these versions. When you say email address, okay, so did okay, even this is available, but I'm trying to understand when they added this. Okay, .NET 9.8.7.6.5.3. So all of these versions. So check required field. Might be they added the backward compatibility, or it's there from the beginning. I never get a chance to look into this one. Yeah, this is good. So you can directly verify the email address. You don't need to depend on uh, the data annotations. They, not the data annotation, the regular expression. Might be, do we have something for mobile number? Mobile number. No, there is no data annotation for mobile number. Check for zip code. No, not even for zip code. What else? Website URL. Oh, even this URL is different. No, there is no URL. URL is there, but what is this for? URL attribute, go to the documentation. So URI, or else you can go directly to the definition. Okay, this is also data annotation. So let's see how this URL will work. I'm adding a additional field, public string URL. What is this? String URL, my URL. Okay, so I'll just say URL and I'll say error message. Okay, if there is a error message, then it's a data annotation. Please enter valid URL. So even you no need to go to any material, any website to understand it. So whenever you type something, just click on the definition. It will go to the definition of the class, and you can. It will provide some minimum documentation what this is going to do and the purpose and how this is going to work. Okay, and this will help you understand. So by looking at this, okay, System.component.Dataannotation, then it's a data annotation. So let's try this. I'm going to add what is that, my URL, right? My URL. So I'll say something like this, and this is not a valid URL. I know that. Okay. Please enter valid URL. And if I say google.com, still it says it needs a valid URL. HTTP. Now it should allow. Yeah. Okay. Even we have to check email address, right? So if I remove this, so oh, why it's not giving the email address? Email address. I'll say df. See, enter email address. So if you give something like this, yeah. So if you give ABC, okay. So this specific one is checking whether you have a at the rate symbol in your. Just see at the rate. Yeah, this is not a valid email, but ABC something and at the rate, then it's considering as a valid email ID. What will happen if it finds? Yeah, again it's saying valid. Yeah, so yeah, again it's a valid email ID. So check how this data annotation works and what is the difference between data annotation. So the advantage with data annotation, you can customize your format. The regular expression, you can customize your format by specifying what are all the characters it's allowing and what are not it's allowing. Okay, so anything else you want to see? um, Data annotation only. So these data annotations will be used for model validation. This is a view model, right? So you you are not doing anything. You are just assigning the data annotations attributes. By using attributes, you are doing it. Whether it is a model, um, view model or model, both are same. Okay. So I'll give a quick break. Any questions on the data annotations we discussed? Model or view model. Here model and view model both are referring same. So no. Why you want to give validation to a method? No, let me let me make you understand. So when you go to grocery, whether you validate the product you are taking or you will validate how they are billing or how they are preparing this small uh, grocery, you just validate your grocery product, right? So here product is nothing but your data. So if you uh, understand this, so here I'm sending data to my API. So this data I'm sending to this API by using this postman. And when there is a invalid data, if the name is not mandatory, if the name is mandatory means the data whatever I'm providing it's invalid. Here it's invalid, right? It's exceeding the characters. And also the email address is not a valid. So that means this entire data payload is invalid. And when I am going with a invalid data, I'm not even entering into action method. Is this action method getting executed? No. So here the gatekeepers will will be here. For all your methods, the gatekeepers will be here. So they will check whether you have valid data or not. Then only they will send you inside. It's like uh, simple movie. When you are going to movie, at gate there will be a gatekeeper and he will validate your ticket. If I show the ticket which is in future date, if I show the ticket which is in the past date, will he allow me? No, because it's a invalid. And without ticket, will he allow me? No. So yeah, you are not even entering into the uh, method. So these validations will work in that way. Everything, if it's valid, then only they will get inside. Okay. So yeah, these data annotations are very important as part of your interview and also as part of your implementation. Okay. So the display name, it's better to use for every property, even though you have name, both are matching. Just mention name. Sometimes, so this is the way you can outside you can uh, avoid exposing your actual property. So inside I can have patient information, but outside I can say name. So nobody knows what exactly this property is. These are all the secure ways of securing your applications. Okay, so data type also you can mention, the data format you can mention, especially when you are using datetime, it's very handy. And the required, uh, and also the range will be for numeric. Suppose if you are asking age and you have a age limitation only above 12 and below 18, so you can specify the range. Okay, and regular expression is the one which will allow you to define various formats like mobile number, email address, website URL, zip code, and various other, even your custom. But even they have the email address and URL, because these are widely used and unique ones, um, unique format. So yeah, and in my uh, YouTube channel, there is a video about data, the legacy ASPX data validations. So even though these are the data annotations, we are calling it, but these data validations exist in ASP.NET, the legacy ASP.NET, and I need to find it. So there is a, it will be .NET exceptions, .NET web service. Somewhere you will find in the registration. In these old ASPX videos, you will find ASP.NET data validations. So in even ASP.NET also we have required field, regular expression, range validator, um, compare validator. So there are many. Okay. Okay. I'll stop session here.